I mean, Tyson Fury is number one in the world because he's beaten everything that's been put in front of him. You can't take that away. I've never really considered Tyson Fury a particularly difficult opponent, but then I'm not a boxer. And I think when you get in the ring, people tell me that he is extremely difficult to land a punch on. He's smart, boxing smart. I don't think he's got a massive amount of power, and yet he bashed up Wilder and stopped him, so he's got enough power. If you let Tyson Fury, anyone who fights in that style, if you let them dictate the pace of the fight, you will inevitably lose. Because if you don't, no matter how hard you punch, and Dillian Whyte punches, I'm going to say pretty hard. He's not an Ernie Shavers, but he hits harder than most heavyweights, especially with the left hook. If he doesn't land a punch, he can't possibly win the fight. And Tyson Fury, unless he goes into the trenches, won't necessarily have a problem in beating Dillian Whyte on points by a wide margin. However, I like Dillian Whyte, so I may be looking for things. This is the trouble with boxing, you get a bit biased. I didn't think Tyson looked in the greatest shape. I saw him at the weigh-in, not the weigh-in, at the workout, and carrying a little bit round the middle. Well, he's a heavyweight, he can get away with it, but sometimes it makes me always think, have they put in the shift, have they? So does he tire? Does he have to get involved in a fight to keep Dillian Whyte off in the later rounds? And if he does, there opens the door of opportunity for Dillian Whyte to knock him out. So it's not really this is not a betting fight for me, because on the one hand I have the expected outcome, Tyson Fury comfortably on points, possibly in quite a negative fight with lots of holding, lots of fiddling around, lots of feints. And on the other hand I have Dillian Whyte to win by knockout in rounds 9 and 10. When you get to 11 and 12, you see the winning line. You can generally summon that little bit extra. So I always look for the championship, the beginning of the championship rounds.
So briefly, if I was giving you a charity bet, what would you put on?
I'd put it on Dillian Whyte to knock out Tyson Fury around 9 and 10, because I don't know the odds, but they're going to be pretty good.
He's the outsider.
He's the outsider, but plus by naming a round, So if I'm looking for value, Tyson Fury to win on points is short price. So that's no value to me, because it's an entertaining fight. And if I'm watching a fight like that and I'm waiting for someone to land the one big shot, makes the fight more exciting, because as we all know, betting is about fun. Of course we like to win, but we like to be involved. We had the Grand National the other day. My horse led for all bar one fence, and I didn't mind losing my money because I had fun, and that's good. And this would be the same if you're backing Dillian Whyte to win by KO in the later rounds, whether it's an individual round or a segment round. You're going to get terrific value, and I don't see Tyson Fury knocking out Dillian Whyte early. That's for sure.
As a final question, is there too many variables now that we're never going to see Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua?
Well, listen, you can never say never, because the money is humongous for that fight. And being the cynical old grey-haired promoter that I am, I always think money talks. So I think we will see it, and I think we'll see it. Well, I think that AJ can actually beat Usyk in the return. But that's a key part of it as well, because a lot of this, does it happen, doesn't happen, it depends on the split of the purse, the egos of those involved, both promoters and boxers. All this has to become in the mix. So if, for example, Tyson Fury beats Dillian Whyte and AJ loses to Usyk, then Tyson Fury quite rightly will want a bigger split than AJ may be prepared to give him, and then the fight doesn't happen. If AJ wins against Usyk and Tyson Fury wins against Dillian Whyte, it's a straight 50-50, and boys, get it on, and that's an easier fight to make. And of course, it's also a fight that is wanted by key players all around the world, which will generate a huge amount of money. I mean, it's a 100 million plus fight. Now, I don't know about you, but in my book, that's a lot of money.